Now Loki stands up menacingly, towering over everybody after Luffy and Zoro free him from his chains. They thought he'd be too injured to move, but he stood right up. So Hasrudin and the rest of the giants are just screaming for Loki to chill out, put the hammer down, please put Ragnir down. But then it cuts over to the school for the giants, and a giant serpent is attacking the class. So all the kids are running and screaming for their teacher, but since none of the staff are really fighters, all they can really do is call for help. As the kids are just screaming for help, we're gonna be eaten. But that's when a couple of them come in clutch. One of them hits the serpent with a giant hammer, and then Saul comes from the top rope with a hockey punch. So it looks like they knocked it out, and they hold a bit of a pose. And it turns out the principal can fight. Now this catches all the students off guard because they didn't know he was a warrior, and they're all glazing Saul because he's as strong as people say. But he's saying there's no need to worry because this serpent was just a wild snake. Like there are just monsters in this realm. But then they find one of the teachers badly beaten up and covered in blood. So everybody's asking what happened, but he says he's fine, just that a bunch of the students started walking off without saying anything. So Saul chases after them, but he yells not to touch them. And as they look at him from a distance, the kids appear to be sleepwalking. And no matter how much they yell, they aren't waking up. So they sound the horn to let the entire country know that there's an emergency, but that's when two more big-ass monsters come out of nowhere. And this ain't the only problem, the rest of the kids are starting to pass out. So all the adults have no clue what's going on, they just want to prioritize getting the rest of the kids to safety. But then it cuts back over to Loki kinda bragging about breaking free, saying, "Did you think just one sea shackle would be enough to sap my strength? How naive. If you care about keeping Elbaf safe, remove the last shackle, because rest assured, even in my current state, I'm far from helpless." And he says, "I'd hurry if I were you. If I strike, the flames will rage. And you already know about Elbaf's greatest weakness, right?" And he says, "I'll wipe you all out," as he swings Ragnir at the giant Adam tree. Now since it's called Ragnir, I'm assuming he's like calling on lightning, similar to Thor or some shit. And like he said, the second he strikes, fire starts going everywhere. And yeah, the rest of the giants on the island seen the lightning strike as well. So as soon as Loki has the strength to stand up, he uses his giant hammer Ragnir to strike the giant Adam tree that Elbaf is built on. And just by swinging this shit, he causes lightning to strike from the sky and lights a big ass fire on Elbaf that everybody on the island can see immediately. But then it cuts back to the school again, and the teachers are keeping the children occupied while these giant monsters attack. And the teacher says she recognizes them from earlier today. After she recalls teaching her class, she says all the monsters that are attacking them, they're the beasts that the kids fear the most. Yes, they were talking about what they're scared of in class. So the reality of the situation is that this is their nightmare world. All the kids that have been forced to sleepwalk, their dreams have become a reality. And of course, this is the work of the holy knights that are trying to kidnap them. Now Saul is walking alongside them, calling their names and trying to get them to stop, but it's no use. And Robin reminds him that the other teacher said not to touch them. And he's like, "I know, but bro, we can't just let them walk off the island. Let's just get them back to the school." But the second he reaches out, a bunch of thorns appear around him and stab through his hand. So he falls down writhing in pain, but nobody else could even see what happened. So the teachers call the giant pirates, saying all our students suddenly fell into a deep sleep. We have no clue what's going on, but a bunch of mysterious beasts have appeared from the forest. And obviously they're worried because their kids go to the school. And the kids are heading in the direction of the 8th branch, and that's all on top of that lightning strike and fire we all seen. So the crew's just confused, like what's all this chaos going on? But then the 8th branch just explodes into a raging fire. So the giant elder about to pass out from all this chaos, as we see their like firefighting force gets dispatched. But as they're heading over there, a giant skeleton monster appears from the forest and knocks them out the sky. Yeah, these kids got some crazy ass imagination, cause what the fuck? But the holy knights are just chilling eating a meal while they execute their plan. And Yo's laughing watching all the giants struggle, saying the more you love somebody that you're trying to help, the stronger the thorns will be when they get you. So it's his power that's stopping them from grabbing the kids. And he's saying it'll be even better when the kids' parents show up. Because if they try to hug their kids, the thorns will rip them to pieces. And it'll be so bad their children won't even want to look at them. And they'll be crying as their parents die right in front of them. Even murder can be moving. Damn, are all these niggas just pure evil? Like Yo's saying it'll be death by love. That's something to look forward to. Am I right? But Gunko just doesn't say anything before she describes the path that the children are gonna take. So it's her power that's guiding the children, but they really don't seem to be taking this seriously. Like they're having fun torturing the giants. And we see St. Killingham's power is the one that put the children to sleep, as he's a dream materializing man. But again, they're still just sitting here talking about how good the salt in their meal is. And after they get the kids on the ship, they're just gonna go back to Mary Joie. And Summers is actually mad, saying that this shit was too easy, but she says that trouble is brewing. I saw a certain pirate ship anchored at the village. Emperor Straw Hat Luffy is here on Elbaf. Now the kids that are walking to the ship are like walking directly into the giant flames that Loki created. So Hesruden's trying to get in his ass like, bro, you're not shit. But Loki says, come on, go ahead and try something. There's no way you can stop me. But he is huffing and puffing. Because remember, the Holy Knights injured him very badly, and he says none of you can even lift Ragnir. But Jared's like, yo, come on, we can't let you turn anybody else into a victim. But he says, oh, there will be victims, and the flames are already spreading. Now choose, surrender your weapons and let me go, or will you let everyone die? I'll slaughter every last weakling in the Sun Realm. But Luffy's still just worried about him because of how injured he is. Hesruden's like, wait, yo, we get it. And Loki smiles, but Zoro says don't fall for it. But Luffy's like, well, I guess there's no choice. I promised if you did anything, I'd drop you. Hesruden tells him to be careful as Loki goes to pick up his hammer. He's screaming, there's no turning back from a crime like this. Just stop, Loki. Think of the children. Zoro's asking, yo, are you gonna let him off easy? His wounds are already open anyway. But Loki starts chuckling like, damn, I guess I lose this round, as Luffy cracks him with a regular Gear 3 punch, knocking him to the ground. Elbaf is safe for now. And Zoro says he was already at death's door, just standing was taking all the strength he could muster. Saying it was a nice try, he probably planned on finding some place to pass after he'd escaped, but I doubt he would have made it given all the blood loss. Zoro's like, it's up to y'all, are you gonna treat him or let him die? Luffy says we've got unfinished business with him. He was already covered in blood by the time we got here. You can clearly see from all his wounds that somebody tried to kill him. Luffy makes a request to Hesruden to please spare his life. I don't care what kind of person he is, I can't just watch him die. They do have mercy on him and start nursing him back to health. Of course, after they re-chain him up with the Sea Prism Stone. He says it'll take several months for a full recovery. If we're serious about treating these wounds, he shouldn't be sleeping in a place like this. Won't be so forgiving back at the village, they'll just execute. I think Loki says he doesn't mind staying here, and I'm pretty sure Hesruden calls him unforgivable garbage. After they chain Loki back up, Luffy's sitting on his horns like, these are the real deal. Hesruden says they're the mark of the ancient giants. Our father Harold was the same. Recalls a time when him and Loki were kids, King Harold called them precious, just wanting them to get along. They should do what they can to support Elbaf. Loki used to bully his ass, saying, how can I call such a weak runt my big brother? Just a bastard, you'll never be dad's true heir. While he's remembering all this shit, bro starts raising his axe. The rest of the giants have to stop him like, yo, calm down. Saying there's no way I could ever forgive him. He insulted my mother and killed our father. So Loki's like, do it already. This weeping warrior thing has gotten old. So drunk on all the personal drama, you can't even see the forest for the tree. Come on, man, don't tell me you're really like the rest. You think I really killed our father in cold blood? Tell me, yo, you don't really buy it, do you? Hesruden is just caught off guard that he'd say this. But then it cuts back over to Frankie and Ripley. He shows him like a scientific lab on a specific part of Elbaf. Of course, he's excited as shit because he's a cyborg. He loves stuff like this. But why would a facility like this be in a country of warriors? Then it shows Lilith and Bonnie popping out the top of it saying, what's up, Frankie? They just been exploring around the island, so they all just happen to run into each other. And she says this facility is stunning. I estimate that it's been here for at least 3,000 years. Frankie like, how the hell you calculate that? It's no way it's that old. Ripley's like, we can't even argue because even we don't know how old that shit is. Lilith says that's something worth researching. All of a sudden, a giant thundercloud pops out the forest behind them, and it's another one of the children's greatest fears, manifested into reality. They gotta deal with this. While the giant Skeletor monster is attacking the villages, adults are like, why the hell are the kids imagining shit like this? Can't even call the chiefs for help because they're all passed out drunk. Brooke's like, yo, this is so surreal. It's a giant meat. But the giants are telling the crew to fall back because there's a bunch of crazy shit going on. Colin's little ass is begging to help them fight. Come on, a battlefield is no place for a child. Get your ass up out of here and we'll handle this.